Before we get any further, this video contains spoilers for The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 5. If you haven't seen it yet, we highly recommend you head on over to Disney Plus and watch it before continuing with the video. If you're all caught up or just don't care, let's dive right in.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
To anyone who's seen Disney's 2002 animated film, Treasure Planet, this week's episode is just a rehash of the usual treasure hunting fable. Heroes follow a legend, they end up on a forgotten world, they find treasure, the treasure is booby-trapped, they have to give it up in order to escape, treasureless, but richer for the lessons they learnt along the way. We won't lie, it's another episode of nothing happening, which is especially disappointing after the exciting return to action that was episode 3. While there isn't much to talk about regarding this episode, it does an excellent job of underlying an issue many fans have had with the show's direction. Mainly, fans are disappointed at the amount of filler this second season has given us so far. In today's video, we'll be talking about the recent episodes and what we think their place is in the grand scheme of Season 2. While Season 1 of The Bad Batch had its fair share of light-hearted, lower-stakes episodes, Season 2 has been a bit of a letdown for many fans so far. Of the first 5 episodes, 4 could be considered as filler. This would have been a disappointing start to any series, but it feels particularly anticlimactic when we're talking about a show with as much potential as The Bad Batch. One of the reasons Season 1 was so popular was because, much like the Clone Wars that had come before it, it didn't shy away from dark topics and gritty themes. Season 1 showed us the slow implementation of fascism in the galaxy and the way this affected the now obsolete clone troopers who had been created, used, abused, and were now about to be tossed away like used lemon halves. We got to see Kaminoan politicians schmoozing as much as they could, not to protect their clones, but to guarantee their survival and profit. We witnessed the Empire suppressing peoples and planets across the galaxy. The Clone Wars had ended, but the nightmare had only begun. That was what brought fans in and kept them captivated. The promise of a dark and gritty show about a battle-hardened veteran unit of the Clone Wars in the post-Imperial takeover. The members of Clone Force 99 were perfect protagonists for it. 5 unique, OP special clone forces that could give the Empire hell. Even the heavy plot point of Crosshair's defection to the Empire was an emotional rollercoaster. Season 1 delivered, and with the epic ending of the fall of Tipoca City in its finale, fans were eager for more. The fires were stoked in the meanwhile by series like Andor, which really showed how far the writers of Star Wars could go with themes such as rebellion against a totalitarian empire. The Bad Batch Season 2 could have been epic. Instead, we've got filler. So far, 4 out of 5 episodes have focused on the wacky adventures of Clone Force 99 and Omega. From Omega trying to recover Dooku's war chest to help out her friends, to Tech learning how to riot race, to an episode straight out of another Disney film, it's hard not to feel as if Season 2 really dropped the ball. The little hope Episode 3 gave us was taken away by 2 straight weeks of filler. It isn't just the episode's plotlines that feels like a letdown, however. It's the overall tonal shift. Season 1 could be funny at times, but Season 2 seems to really be focusing on light-hearted gags and humor. Episode 5 is particularly guilty of this, with the entire episode dedicated to Omega and Figanoa YOLOing their way through a booby-trapped ancient building while the other clones groan, gripe, and fall into trap after trap. It's childish, unbelievable, and a little cringe. Exactly what you wouldn't want to see in a series about badass clones fighting the evil Empire. Many fans blame Omega's character for this, and in a way, they aren't entirely wrong. Her existence, and the fact that she's still a child, does affect the tonal shift of the show. No one wants to expose a child to the true horrors of the galaxy, so writers would naturally try and avoid the darkest themes in this dystopian timeline. However, in our opinion, Omega isn't truly responsible for the amount of filler we've been getting, at least not in the way people seem to think she is. You see, what we believe to be the real issue at play isn't that the writers are derailing the series or that Omega is a bad character, it's a difference in expectations. What the fans wanted was an action-packed show of clones being badass and fighting the Empire. However, that isn't the show the writers wanted to give us. All these episodes in Season 2 that feel like filler aren't actually filler. Filler implies that the episodes in question could be taken out without it affecting the plot at all. Filler episodes don't drive the plot further, nor do they add anything to the series. The reason many see these episodes as filler is because, in their mind, The Bad Batch was supposed to be a dark show about fighting the good fight. With the ending of Season 1, fans were expecting a return to the same sort of pace, and these lighthearted episodes feel like they're delaying what was promised. In reality, every episode in Season 2 serves a purpose. It just so happens to be one people weren't excited for. With the end of Season 1, Hunter and the other members of Clone Force 99 finally managed to escape Kamino and the Empire with Omega in tow. After the trauma of having to fight their own clone brothers and Crosshair's betrayal, fighting the Empire wasn't their plan moving into the future. As Hunter says in Episode 1, they now have Omega to protect. Their priority isn't fighting the Empire, but giving the kid now in their care a good life. In Episode 1, the other members have to convince Hunter to go after Dooku's war chest because he sees it as too much of a risk. Clone Wars era Hunter wouldn't have cared about the danger, but now he has a child to look after. A child he wants to give a proper future to. Even when he agrees, it isn't because they could use the money to do good in the galaxy, but because they could use the money to secure a better future for Omega. That's what Season 2 is about so far, and that's why these low-stakes episodes aren't filler. Rather than fighting the Empire and involving themselves in the struggles of the galaxy, Clone Force 99 made a very deliberate choice to put that fight behind them and focus on only surviving and protecting their new charge. The jobs they take for credits. One could even make an argument that these lighthearted missions are a fun way of giving Omega the childhood she never had, with fun trips and exciting adventures. What some see as boring filler is just the Bad Batch depicting veteran soldiers trying to step away from the new war and make a life for themselves outside of that conflict. If that were all the show wanted to show us, however, there wouldn't have been a Season 2. That's why we're convinced things are about to change. Although the Bad Batch are clearly trying to stay out of it and do their own thing, Season 2 has given us plenty of hints that this isn't gonna last much longer. In Episode 1, Echo approaches Hunter when they're en route to Sereno. Although he acknowledges that Hunter agreed to the mission only to ensure a better future for Omega, he also points out that they could do much more with the money than Hyde. With numbers and weapons, they could fight. At the time, Hunter doesn't want to hear about it. Later on Sereno, when faced with the victimized old Serenian, Tech and Omega both get a glimpse of what it feels like to live under the Empire and have your culture and resources stolen from you. The seeds of doubt were already planted in the two-parter season opening, but it's Episode 3 that really stands out. We've talked about how amazing this episode was. A return to the Clone Wars, but with the clones as the real villains. We saw Cody desert, and Crosshair potentially distressed or displeased by the developments of the episode. This episode was significantly darker than the other 4, and it's no coincidence that it's the only one Omega isn't in. Episode 3 shows us the world Hunter and the others are trying to protect Omega from. But while they're living in their little bubble of riot racing and treasure hunts, the galaxy is falling apart, crushed under the heels of the Empire, and it's only a matter of time before that bubble pops. The other members of Clone Force 99 like Tech and Echo have already shown a desire to take up the fight. We predict that, over the next few episodes, the Bad Batch will be pushed hard, and realize that, no matter how much they try to run from it, this is their fight, and they'll never be able to have a future if the Empire isn't dealt with. But that's just our take on the season so far. What do you think will happen next? What did you think of Episode 5? Let us know all that and more in the comments section below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.